And I've asked you this a couple of times. Are you still willing to vote for a bill to forcibly vaccinate the American public if the circumstances arise?
No, and you and I have had this discussion.
We talked about.
Would you ever vote for a forced vaccination?
For a forced vaccination?
Under any circumstances?
Yeah, under the circumstance that they can show medically that something absolutely.
And you would force people to get vaccinated.
Well, I mean, if there's something that's going to save people from getting cancer or something, I might.
No,
twice, and both times you said to me that under certain circumstances, yes, you would vote for that bill.
If you, yeah, and the circumstances would be if everyone's dying of some disease or something of that nature, maybe in that case one would. But I think we should make vaccinations available from time to time as people need them, and make recommendations that people get them. I don't think we should force people to get them.
As you can see. Now, my other question was, the last time I met you, I asked you about whether you'd be willing to vote for a bill to forcibly vaccinate. And children younger than 9 years of age.
You said that under certain circumstances that you would. What would be those circumstances?
Circumstances would be that there is in circulation a disease which is
like swine flu.
No, not like swine flu.
Well, what if it gets deadly? What if
it got really deadly? I mean, if all of a sudden, you know, you had 50 people in Delaware die of swine flu. That is made up.
Right, whatever.
Some much bigger number than 1, 2, or 3, whatever the number is now. In that case, you know, I would certainly listen to an argument that we need to have compulsory vaccination in that circumstance to save the.
So no Fourth Amendment. To be secure in your property and possessions and all that.
Yeah, but I mean, it's. I don't know if that really is a Fourth Amendment issue. I mean, to me, in that case, it's.
If you don't have a right to what goes into your body, how can I mean, never mind the paper and effects that you have on you.
Scientifically, to turn it around, if you were scientifically convinced, and I'm not necessarily, you may not be, that the vaccination is effective and would prevent the spread of whatever the disease is, be it swine flu or something else.
That's safe. Yeah.
And therefore you would not only save yourself, but be able to save your family and people around you or whatever. You know, in that case, you know, would you take it or would you want to take it? You probably would want to take it, but is there?
Let me ask you this:
Is it wrong to force you to take it? You're going to go to a University of Delaware football game. You're going to be in there with 20,000 people, and if you're infectious in some way or another, you know, you may be risking their lives in that situation.
Did you know that the nasal spray makes you contagious to other people for 20 days out?
I did not know that.
Yes, and it's on their paperwork, it's in their inserts, it's in the fine print, but it makes you contagious. All right? Now,
I am not for forcing people to get any.
You need to get that straight in your head before they come throwing a bunch of statistics and numbers at you. I mean, you've got to think about fundamentally when it comes to the Constitution and whether people have a right to be, you know, a right to their own bodies.
Well, I understand. But I'm not worried about, I mean, I think you should be protected in what you're going to do with your body, etc. I am only concerned if there is some epidemic in which, for whatever reason, you know, we're starting to lose dozens of lives or hundreds of lives or whatever it may be. That's the only time I would even think about that.
Well, when you told me about a forced vaccination bill, you said you were open to it.
Well, I'm open to, look, if you show me some of the.
You don't think that that's a violation of the Fourth Amendment? The government running around with needles?
Wait a minute, I'm not, you know, it's not like the government's going to run around with needles.
They tried to do it last year.
I am saying that if a third of the people in this country get ill or die because of something, one way or another, and it's some sort of a disease that might spread, we'd have to consider it, sure.
You're welcome.
I mean, don't translate that into the government running around with needles. I'm not.
Well, that's exactly what it is. If you vote to forcibly, how would you propose? No, how would you propose to enforce that?
I don't know the answer to that, and this is all too hypothetical for you and me to sit here and argue intelligently. I'm just saying if there was some.
I'm just wondering where the violations of the Constitution start and stop with you.
Yeah. People are dying. We got to do something about saving them. That's all.
and you think it's your place to decide for the individual what goes into their body.
I don't think typically that's the case, but my point is, on a hypothetical basis, if you had some circumstance in which some disease was spreading and we could stop it, then you might make that decision. And again, I don't know of any circumstance like that would come up.
But don't you open the door to misuse or abuse of that?
I would hope not, and I would think not.
Well, if you would hope not, then you have some doubt that there's a possibility it could happen. So I think that, if you can't be certain that it won't be abused, I don't think you can vote for it.
Well, I'm not voting for anything.
Or you
I'm not even close to voting for anything. I mean, I said, if there was some broad circumstance, I would look at it. I didn't say I'd vote for anything necessarily. And I'm not talking about any situations that exist today, obviously.